What's up, folks? How's it going? If you hear any noises in the background, it's my dog. The thing I love about dogs is how easy it is to distract them. I put treats inside of a 2-liter bottle, and he can't get them out. He spends hours trying to get the fuckers out of the bottle. It's great. It's great. I recommend it for your dog. Second thing is this. Got all that. Though you would assume no one would care, I'm just going to answer the question first off because I saw what happened when Richard cut his hair. The short answer was fucking sick and tired of it. Long hair is incredibly high maintenance. It got on my face all the time. I just didn't have the patience for it. When you're sleeping, it gets tangled up. When you're fucking sitting in a chair, in a tall chair, and your hair is touching it, it gets tangled up. I was putting on the hoodie all the time, mainly to keep the shit out of my eyes, right? But they would tangle up my fucking hair. So I had to spend all this time untangling my fucking hair. Done with it. Fucking done with it. I made my point. But it had to go. Okay? And I find myself, because it just got cut today, but I find myself trying to play with hair that's not there anymore. It's amazing how quickly you can imprint behavior on somebody. I had no idea how much of a fixation I had on playing with my fucking hair, until now it's not there, and I don't know, it's weird. So let's talk about some concerns on the last video. First of all, the response was generally positive, and to be frankly honest, I did not expect that. I expected the video to go down in flames, mainly because I was reading from Mein Kampf to support one of my opinions. But people, oftentimes surprise me with their stupidity, but I'm also, surprised by, how intelligent people can be to recognize that you can read from Mein Kampf and not be a Nazi, right? So that shows a level of maturity that, to be completely honest with you, I didn't expect. Let's answer some of these questions. The first question is maybe from the video response. Well, questions and comments. But a video response was made to me by someone named Lucian Zakave, I think is his name, Zakaev, I don't know, something like that. Who's black, by the way. And I know there's black atheists, and Christopher Seven, he's out there, whatever. Anyway, he asks, what is the end goal? What's, in my opinion, what's the end goal? What's the personal end goal? The answer to that question would be, first of all, would I like to see religion go away entirely? Yes. But I don't see any way that that's possible short of killing everyone. And not only am I against genocide, but that's just not fucking possible from a practical point of view. My main goal is to see fairy tales have no place in public discourse anywhere ever again. That is my goal. If you want to worship whatever the fuck you want to worship inside your home, whatever, okay? I still think that you're fucking retarded and that you are, you're selling yourself short, but whatever, And you'd think that alone would be enough for these people. Isn't it all about a personal relationship with God? We're not getting into that. But yeah, my goal is to see fairy tales take no part in public discourse about anything, because they're not based in any facts at all, okay? So that's my answer to that question. That is my goal. And if you were to do that, all right, if you were to construct a society in which religion had no part in public discourse, you would weaken the faith of people, okay? Because part of the reason that people feel religion is necessary is because we are constantly told religion is necessary. The religious people say it obviously because they want to keep their jobs, but the politicians say it, the news says it. Even if they don't say it outright, they imply it. They constantly imply that religion is somehow necessary. Okay, if that voice is no longer present, people are going to come to realize, wow, I don't actually need this for anything. At least that's my opinion. Okay, I think that if you were to eliminate religion from the public discourse, that would eventually lead to the elimination of religion as a natural process. Okay. And the thing here is that it's really not that hard of a concept to sell a religious person, okay? Because religious people don't want religion running their lives either. They don't want, Christians don't want Muslims running their lives, right? Jews don't want Christians running their lives, Hindus don't want Buddhists running their lives or whatever. And a lot of religious people don't want religion running their lives anyway because they like to sin just as much as the rest of us. So it's not that hard of an idea to sell to people. All right, let's look at some other things in here. Okay. I think another weakness that atheists have is that while the factions that are good at using propaganda have something to promote as well as condemn. Nazis would not have been as talented at propaganda as they were if they had no more to say than just Jews are bad. They also said that Germans were great. In order to win against theists, we have to have something to promote. That is 100% fucking true. The problem is I don't know exactly what it should be. Okay, part of the problem is that the traditional things that you would promote, which would be your religion is better or you are better racially, doesn't compute with a lot of the underlying ideas of most people who are atheists. It wouldn't fly. Okay, and what kind of sick fucks would we be to say, to have some sort of racial point on it? The short answer to this is going to be you're going to have to promote multiple smaller things. Okay, it's pretty clear that that living your life based on things that are real is better. Okay, you're going to have a better life. You're probably going to live longer. You're probably going to have a better understanding of the world, and you're probably going to have better relationships with the people you know. That's just the way it is. That's one thing that you can promote. You're probably actually going to end up being a more moral person just simply by not being religious, because you're going to be allowed to, apply morals as they arise in the real world, and that's how it has to work, man. I mean, you'll end up being a more you end up having a better understanding of morality without religious, stringent religious rules on morality. Okay, so that's one thing you can promote. But I don't know the complete answer to this question. I'm not a fucking genius. I wish, but I'm sure somebody has a better answer than me. Let's find something. It's a very Machiavellian, Machiavellian, of course, referring to the prince, which is supposed to be a guide for, being a prince, ruling your people, and it's, has a lot of harsh opinions in it. Just as a side note, a lot of people think that the prince might have actually been satire at the time, but they're not quite sure. Either way, is a very Machiavellian approach you're advocating here. The only thing I would disagree with is using straight-out lies and propaganda, which the Nazis did do to some extent. Also, there is nothing wrong with using scientific evidence as long as you present it in easily digestible bits. I don't totally agree, but interesting video anyway, blah, blah, blah. All right. First of all, I certainly hope I didn't say that we should straight-up lie. If I said that, please disregard it. The thing here is that we don't have to lie. Part of the reason that the Nazis had to lie a lot is because their ideology was based on stupid shit, like racism and all that kind of crap. Okay, they had a logically unsound philosophy, so they have to lie. Okay, they have to lie about how the world works. Okay, simply saying Aryans are a superior race, it's just a lie in and of itself. Okay, we don't have to do that. because, you know, an anti-theistic position is going to end up being more rational than a theistic position anyway, so we don't have to lie. The point is not lying, but selecting facts that are going to have an impact on people. Okay? We all know how interested people are in violence and bad things. It always get a better reaction from violence. That's why, you know, the news doesn't play a bunch of stories about good things that happen. They play a bunch of stories about bad things that happen because people don't respond as well to good things. I don't know why. Okay, I'm sure there's a behavioral scientist or a neuroscientist that could tell you why. I don't. But the fact is that people respond better to negativity. They respond better to things like that. So what you do is you focus on emotional things. And there are plenty of facts here, okay? You can continually, I think it would be a better idea to continually hark on all the violence caused directly by religion. That's a fact. No lying is being done there. Now, you might be focusing on that fact to the exclusion of another, but it's still a fact, okay? You know, that's all I'm asking here, all right? And taking a more emotional approach to this issue, because that is going to appeal to people more, okay? If somebody comes up to you and says, here's some fucking numbers of how many people have died because of your fucking religion. You want to look at these numbers? There you got a little bit of facts, right? You have some information, okay? It's not just, you know, it's not just rhetoric, okay? Come in and be like, look, here's the fucking numbers of how many people have died from your fucking religion, all right? Show them the pictures, you know? Have them look at, you know, all the genocides caused by these things. Show them that over and over and over and over and over again. That is going to have, if it's not going to change their mind, they're going to fucking remember it, okay? They're not going to respond the same way to you coming in and saying, you know, this is a logical fallacy and this is blah, 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 and this is, you understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying about that, okay? You don't have to lie, all right? You know, and yes, you know, presenting evidence in easily digestible bits, okay? That's awesome. But the first goal is to get their attention, first and foremost, because they're not listening to you, okay? You have to break through the fucking wall, okay? That's the goal here, okay? And going directly to issues like, you know, why creationism is, you know, scientifically unsound and all that crap is not the best way to approach that. That's something that you explain to them afterwards, okay? That you gradually increase it. You know, just like in the story, you know, about the art poster that I read, okay? The poster is not teaching you, you know, science. You don't want to go out and just immediately try to shove science down somebody's throat, okay? The poster is getting them interested in, you know, the art exhibit or whatever, and then they have to go to, if they want to learn more, and they would if the poster was good, if the propaganda was good, you know, they go, and then they learn some more on their own, okay? And you present them this information in stages, okay? That's what we're talking about here. Excuse me. And a couple of people talking about how, you know, this gentleman says, you know, I'm a Native American Puerto Rican who's an atheist or whatever, and you know, and obviously I know that there's a lot of minorities that are religious, and he made the interesting point that his family is constantly trying to convert him to Catholicism, you know, and that's probably part of the reason why we don't see as much talk from non-white atheists, because let's face it, Mexicans and blacks are, you know, much more likely to be religious, you know, incredibly religious. You know, Mexicans and Latin Americans, I should say Latin Americans is more accurate to what he was saying, you know, are likely to be pretty strict Catholics, or at least more likely to be a strict Catholic than a white Catholic, okay? And a black person is probably more likely to be a stricter and more devout Baptist than a white Baptist. You know, and that has to do with their, you know, their cultural situation and the fact that they didn't have very many other places to turn, considering how how good of a job we've done of making these people caricatures of themselves. But so that's an interesting point, and so there might be a lot more black and Mexican atheists than you'd think, but it's harder for them to come out about it because their family is much more likely to be strictly religious, and a lot of atheists never come out about this kind of shit because their family is strictly religious, and they just don't want to be ostracized, and that's totally understandable. I think that was it. There might be some other shit that we could put in there, but in answer to the question, it was asked, who do I think is a good atheist spokesperson? I think Christopher Hitchens is one of the best atheist spokespeople we have in the popular culture. He's very good, but he also I think he doesn't have the same appeal that other people might have to the majority of Americans because he's, first of all, British, which is seen as being higher class and more, la-di-da kind of shit. I'm sorry, I know it's not true, but that's just how people see it. So he's seen more as one of those kind of ivory tower type people. But his methods are great, and Christopher Hitchens doesn't fuck around. I love Christopher Hitchens. Even though I don't support some of his opinions about the Iraq War, I do think that his, I think he's very good at what he does. All right. I don't know. That's about it. I'll talk to you folks